Hey, look who I have here. Annie, how you doing?
I'm
And
good. Thank you.
make sure I say your last name right. Everybody knows it, and I'm really terrible with this. Is Lasley, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, Annie, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with us today and kind of go over one little pocket area of real estate that some of us have been involved with from time to time. And that's when you have a client, guys, and you have to take that sale to court, whether it's divorce or probate or any other situation where you have to go that extra step. It creates a lot of nervous moments for a lot of people because it's not done until it's done.
Right.
And Annie has got the perfect story about this. It just happened. So take it away, Annie.
It was quite a transaction. So I had a listing that it was a probate. It was actually didn't originate as a probate. It actually was an independent administrator was appointed. We put the property on the market. We received 16 offers, all cash for the most part. Put someone in primary, put someone in backup, and then started the process. So there was attorney involved because there was a fiduciary. So what was supposed to happen was then we put it out to basically go to court to confirm. Well, it was just not the way anyone expected it to be. It really just one of the beneficiaries decided that they wanted to challenge it. So what that did then was change it into having to be published, which then allowed someone to overbid, which did happen. Then the buyer that was in primary decided to up their price. So then we move on to being able to get a court date. This all happened in January.
Wow, in
Our
January.
court date
And
was,
you guys, if you don't realize, if you've not been through this before, you might think you have smooth sailing. I know I've been in that situation before. And then one of the beneficiaries just thinks, hey, wait a minute, I think we should get more money. Or, hey, I really wanted that house myself. And then that stalled everything out. So you were sort of in that situation right
so
there.
we were in that situation. So the prevailing buyer was still in contract. They had now needed to pay more because someone had challenged it and someone tried to submit an offer to the attorney. So then when we went to court to try to get a court date, or we did get a court date, it was scheduled for June 2nd. So 6 months later, we went to court to confirm the offer for these buyers that had been waiting, have 10% in escrow, or just excited to get their property. The beneficiary that disputed it decided that he was going to put in an overbid. That proceeded to allow the courts to try to let him do that. So of course, the end result is that you do the best for your client and they get the most money. That process took 3 weeks between not having enough funds, not having the right funds. It should have been all cash, should have been no contingencies. It should have been better than the offer that was on the table. That's not necessarily the case. The judge has discretion to do that. The administrator has discretion to not accept that other offer, but their job is to get the most money for their client. Right. So they can't really do that. So 3 weeks later, after many hoops getting jumped through by everyone, the beneficiary decided that he wasn't going to purchase the property, and it went to the original buyer, and we closed last Friday. So
wow. I guess we could say congratulations on closing, but I've got a question for you. And listening to this story and reading the story when you sent it to me, what came to my mind is, how did you keep these buyers from going totally insane? Because it feels unfair to the buyer, but this is the way the law is written. So what do you do as a realtor to kind of help the buyer through this?
I had a little bit of experience with this beneficiary, so I didn't really ever think that it was going to move in his favor. So I did keep the other agent apprised and said, hold tight, keep your clients calm. It is a good property. They are going to, I mean, the market has continued to do well. So I guess if maybe that wasn't the case, that might not have been their feeling and they wouldn't have stuck it out. But there was a time at one point where the agent sent me the cancellation papers and we just didn't sign them. And she said, don't sign them until after court today, but we just feel like it's not going to work. And I said, well, just hold on. So we never did sign those cancellation papers and they ended up with the house. But people need to be real communicative and patient. And open, you know, I mean, you really got to share all that information. It's hard. You're not, you know, the attorney that's working with the administrator is not our attorney. So he doesn't need to talk to me. He doesn't need to tell me anything. And they don't necessarily do what we do. So they don't understand how the process goes. I mean, they, at one point during the time, the judge doesn't understand. I mean, at one point during the conversation, the judge said she needed me to write a contract for that beneficiary. I said, oh, that is no, thank you.
We do.
No. So, I mean, there's a lot of crossover,
right?
That doesn't happen. You would assume everyone that was involved would know, but they don't know what we do.
In my experience, you're exactly right. You know, the lawyers and the judges, they don't really understand what we're doing, and vice versa often.
Right.
You have agents that are very unfamiliar walking into this situation. So yeah, I agree with you. Communication.
Yeah.
And asking questions if you don't have the answers of your manager or of the attorney if they're willing to talk to you, because ultimately everybody's goal should be the same. And at least for the on the selling side, to get that seller the most for that property with the least headache in the end. So you got through it, girl.
We got through it. I mean, in one way that the beneficiary is the sell, you know, I mean, he's benefiting. He has a sibling and they were both going to be splitting everything. So
yeah, those little personality quirks can get in the way of common sense.
It's interesting.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But good. And hopefully end of the day, he knew he did everything he could and you followed all the rules. And there you go. And now we've got some people very happy living in that house,
right?
Making it their own. If you ever wonder why being a realtor is important, these kinds of stories are it. It's like hitting the nail on the head right there, because you know, it takes patience, it takes experience, a lot of deep breathing sometimes just to get through an escrow, especially if it goes this direction. Annie, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
I appreciate it. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely.
All right.
Hey, you guys got a story? Shoot it my way. We can talk about how you're doing real estate right next. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.